Well, there's been a lot of conversation and debate this week around artificial intelligence after Prime Minister Anthony Albanese mapped out a world-first AI office to keep up with the global revolution.
But the plan is to tackle challenges such as big data centres and job security, but there are concerns that the technology is growing faster than the framework itself. For more, we're joined now by two leading experts in the field, futurist Michael McQueen and Associate Professor Sandra Peter, who is an expert on AI in business and society. Welcome to you.
Hello, morning.
Good morning.
OK, Michael, you said that this announcement by the PM was telling and lacked detail.
Well, I mean, they always do at this point. This is an announcement, but I think the telling part is not just what was said, but what wasn't said. So a 20-minute speech, you were probably there, were you, in the audience? So 20-minute speech, the word opportunity mentioned 9 times, the word threat mentioned once. Right. And I think it was deliberate messaging trying to speak to what is a genuine fear, this anxiety around the AI's impact on jobs and the economy, and realising that actually the big risk right now is for Australia to hold back, to hesitate and not lean in.
And fall behind.
And fall behind. But how do we do that sensibly? And even the way they framed the title of the speech was AI being Australia's interest. How do we do this with Australia's interest in mind?
Yes, there was and you said lack detail. There were a lot of motherhood statements in there.
Yeah. And that's standard for this sort of stage. But I think it's a really positive sign and a necessary discussion point.
Sandra, you've been researching AI before it was even a thing that we even knew about it.
Yes, absolutely.
Before it was cool.
I'm a proper nerd with the bigger glasses, right?
Well, what have been your biggest findings in all these years?
So probably my personal biggest finding is that AI is a very seductive technology. I think so much of Hollywood, of pop culture, of science fiction has prepared us for a artificial intelligence technology that would come to us and it would be cold, problem-solving, objective, the Terminator, command the data. And what we built you is literally the opposite. We built a technology that is seductive, that is more persuasive than people are, that can mimic empathy, but lacks that objectiveness. We've built Mr. Darcy, basically.
Do you feel that there's a big threat here that perhaps the PM wasn't identifying the other day?
I think the PM actually had a fairly comprehensive idea of what we need to do as a country to get this done. But I think the main challenge will be how we get there. And part of that, all of us have to play a role. And I think the biggest thing that we can do is upskill people into understanding what this technology is so that they can take advantage of it. It is a leadership challenge, and he set that out as a leadership challenge for Australia. But all of us need to understand what it is. We have leaders in the classroom, teachers, educators, entrepreneurs, people in universities, and it's something where we have to come together to do this.
I've heard some commentary about AI that probably people in our age group are okay, but it might be, you know, the kids who are in high school at the moment coming through, that those entry-level jobs will be gone.
Yeah.
I know people that are almost preparing for the end of the world here. How do you use it? How do you upskill? You know, it's this never-ending question, isn't it? How do we work alongside it?
Yeah. We eat it every day in university, like the students coming through.
And we're seeing that in universities, we're seeing that in the workplaces. But to take a step back, I think this idea of the job apocalypse doesn't actually play out in the data yet, right? For all the jobs that are disappearing, people are hiring. For all the, graduates are no longer needed in consulting firms. Some consulting firms are hiring more people than ever. For all the, some of the jobs that are disappearing in one sector, we see other ones. The industries that are most affected by artificial intelligence, where things are changing, they're hiring the most people because there's also the opportunity. So I think it's more about how do we rethink jobs, how do we reorganize jobs, what work redesign looks like. And for that, I think, as always, we need to do the hard things, the things that people are really, really good at.
So are we going through that sort of painful moment right now, of that shift to working alongside AI, perhaps?
Yeah, there is that. And it's even addressing some of the other causes of the anxiety, like data centres are a big flashpoint of discussion, a lot of conversations in the PM's announcement about those. And I think a lot of our fears, the fear-mongering about that, some of it is based on old understandings of how data centres worked. So data centres are like big warehouses with computers in them that we used to cool down with traditional air conditioning. You've got things like, not get technical, but direct-to-chip cooling now. So this is much, much more efficient than in the past. And everyone's sort of worried about the cost environmentally. There is a cost. We've got to set guardrails in place, but there's a lot of good news as well when it comes to data centres.
OK, so other than sort of familiarising ourselves and using it almost as a Google tool, and lots of people have done that, and then often they come back and say, oh, it was wrong.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
How would you advise people to upskill themselves in AI?
Yeah. You start.
Jobs and growth, right? Take the University of Sydney micro-credential on AI. I have to say that
brilliant.
if you ask. Best one in the country. But if you don't do it with us, do it with someone, because understanding the fundamentals of the technology will allow you to make choices about how you use it. Understanding that it's a language model, not a knowledge model, you will get it to challenge you rather than give you answers. Challenge the work that you do, use it as an advisor. We always say treat it as a University of Sydney grad student, right? Knowledgeable, very polite, sometimes a little bit cocky, but sycophantic. But there might have been a big party the night before. You want to make sure you always check the answers. But you're always in the driver's seat. You are the one doing the thinking. You are the one working with the technology. So always human first, augmented by the tools.
Before we go very quickly, are you polite to your AI?
Not all that polite.
No, okay.
And neither's Michael, actually. You know what you've done, Sandra, now that you've thrown down the gauntlet about the larger glasses, the bigger nerd, next time Michael's going to come in.
Big glass, Elton John.
I heard you say there was going to be a next time, so...
Yes,
Thanks,
it was
guys.
really interesting. Thank you both, Sandra and Michael.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.